Shotgun mics come in many variations and prices, all the way from you can get these little tiny ones that this one mounts on your camera, and this too, this Rode microphone is they call it a vid mic or something, video mic, mounts right on top of your camera, and they can go from a couple of $100 all the way up to $4,000 or $5,000 for the high-end shotgun mics. At WOMP we have about 3, I think, of these Sennheiser ME66, which are a fairly good quality entry-level shotgun microphone. Shotgun mic is an electronic condenser mic. It's powered. I'll talk about the power in a minute, but quite often you'll see them inside something. You rarely see them bare like this. They're mounted on a suspension system like this, and that suspension system will help eliminate handling noise and any vibrations or anything like that, because you know, moving it, you'll get a lot of noise. And then you'll see them quite often inside something like this. This we call a Zeppelin. There's one here too. And the Zeppelin, whoops, that's the old battered one. The Zeppelin, it helps prevent wind noise as well. So if you've got this shotgun mounted and you're using it in an interview situation and you're doing a swish pan from a guest here to a guest here, if you had to do it fast, you might get a bit of wind noise. This Zeppelin will help eliminate slight wind noises. Usually you use them inside. If you're outside and it's windy, you have to use the Dead Cat. That's what we call this. It's an audio transparent synthetic covering that will help cut down a lot of wind if you're outside, like I say, with a lot of wind noise. So that's the Dead Cat. In Australia, they call it a dead possum. This microphone, this particular model, can be powered by a AA battery, which is inside it here. And you have to take it apart, put the battery in there, put it back together, and then you turn it on by flipping the switch here. And that will, when you turn it on, the light flashes once and then it goes out. It doesn't stay on all the time. And that will power it. When you are using it with a battery, if you're not using it for a long time, undo it, take the battery out. I usually take them to the handle here so I know it's out, because I've had a couple of these come back. They've been sitting for like several weeks and the batteries have started to leak and corroded the inside, and that's a pain to clear up. The other way that these shotgun mics can be powered is through phantom power. Phantom power means you're getting a power source from elsewhere. It can come from the mixer, the recorder, or the camera, and usually these days it's mostly 48 volt DC voltage. So phantom power, you know, you don't need the battery in this. You just plug it into your camera and that'll power it. Shotgun mics are very sensitive to handling noise. As I said, they're a very sensitive mic, and they are a directional mic. So they basically pick up the sound, the best sound, from whatever you're pointing at. And the pattern that they pick it up is kind of like a shotgun. It's not like a rifle, which is dead straight. It tends to spread out like this. And so that's part of the reason they call them a gun or a shotgun mic. Shotgun mics are often used on a boom pole. I've got a boom pole like this. This is a pre-wired, internally wired boom pole. So the XLR cables are at the end here and at this end. And you would just take it and thread it. There's a threading hole, a 5/16 threading hole there. Thread the whole Zeppelin and everything on. Tighten it up. Plug it in right here. XLR plug. And you can see the orientation of the pins, and plug it in. And then the other end, you will go either to your transmitter if you're doing wireless wireless booming, which can be done, and we can talk about that, or it'll go in, your cable will come out and go into your camera, into your mixer, or whatever other source you have. Especially if you're miking actors and actresses, it's at about a 45-degree angle approximately, and I mean, things vary, but I'd say between 3 to 5 feet. Within 3 feet is better. This one is, I can just touch it, so it's about 2.5 feet from my mouth, and it's pointed at my mouth. And if you've got headphones on and we're doing this just very good. You'll be able to hear, if you listen very carefully, the difference between when I move just slightly off axis and when I move directly into the line of where I think the audio is being picked up. It's the same below. If I go below it, it should change. And if you listen carefully with good headphones, you'll hear it, and it should improve as I get into the range. So usually you come in from above, like this one is, because the cameraman headroom should be, I'm guessing, approximately here. So the microphone is out of shot. So there's always space above the head, unless you're doing a big wide shot. You can switch around and boom from below, pointing up. They call that scooping, so that you're again out of the shot and you're pointing up at the actors and actresses. It's a different sound texture than pointing down. Pointing down, you're getting a little bit of bounce, and the clothing is absorbing a little bit of the sound. The body itself is. When you're scooping and pointing up, if you're inside, it'll bounce off the ceiling. Planes go overhead, you'll pick them up. But yeah, you get there's a lot more hard surface above than there is below. Usually there's carpets, furniture, people. When you're pointing down, that's helping the sound bounce a little less. But if you're pointing straight up at somebody from underneath, it'll bounce off the ceiling, off that wall, and it's not an ideal situation. Booming and laving is the ideal way. And laving means, we talked about a lav mic, that means putting a lavalier mic on. Usually it can be a hidden mic. It'll be hidden in the clothing if we're doing a drama and we don't want the mic to see. So it can be hidden in the clothing, and it can be wireless, and then the boom will be out of shot. And the mixer or the engineer or whoever is doing the sound after quite often will use a little bit of both, mixing them together. And the difference between a boom mic or a shotgun mic and a lav mic is kind of like the difference between talking face to face with somebody. If you're standing 3 or 4 feet away and you're talking to someone like I'm talking to you, the shotgun mic, when you're using it, will pick up a small bit of the ambience of the room, and it will sound more real and more like talking face to face to people. Whereas the lav mic, if you've got a lav mic on, it's really close, and that would be like standing right next to someone and talking directly into their ear. You're not going to hear what's happening in the ambience of the room or anything else around. It's going to be a nice, clear sound, but it'll be almost too full. So, ideal situation, lav and a boom. If you can't do a lav, a boom and a boom on a boom pole like this, and a good sound operator with a good set of headphones. And if it's a wide shot and you can't get in there anywhere with a boom, then they're a good lav.